I'm actually kind of glad that I got sick because it led me to this healthy lifestyle. Just my gym performance and everything has been so much better even before I was sick on this diet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 146 of the SuperSetYourLife.com podcast. This is your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. Today, we are joined by Joshua Vanbronckhorst. Did I pronounce that correctly, sir?
Yeah, you actually got it right.
All right, awesome. We're off to a good start. So, Carnivore Josh is a 100% carnivore physique enthusiast. And I got to tell you how much I respect you for that, bro, because I'm only like 80 or 90% myself. So well done.
Heck yeah.
He is currently healing from chronic Gerd slash IPR, whatever that is. I don't even know. So I guess we'll find out. Chronic gastritis. That sounds miserable. At any rate, it's
Yeah.
funny how God uses something as simple as salt to bring like-minded people together that can learn things from each other. Josh and I have done a couple lives together on Instagram while I'm unboxing inbound Celtic sea salt and Redmond real salt stock orders through our website. Usually got like kids running around and dogs running around in the background, but that's how we've been getting to know each other. He's been a customer of ours for a few months now, and I give him full credit for sparking the idea to meet all of my electrolyte needs from sea salts only. No supplements. I had been supplementing magnesium by pharmaceutical capsules and turmeric, and that was a terrible idea now looking back on it because it's like super high in oxalates. So anyway, not doing that anymore. So Josh brought our Makai. He bought our Makai pure salt, which is my favorite salt on the planet, mainly because of its taste. Yep, that one right there. So I asked him why, and he started telling me more about the salt than even I knew about it at the time. Since then, Ian, the researcher at Celtic, suggested that we add Celtic Gourmet Kosher to our website because it has just as much magnesium as Makai, but it's a quarter of the price. It's imported from Guatemala and tastes almost as good in my humble opinion. Today, Josh and I are going to taste them side by side over cold ground beef to see which one tastes better. Got your cold ground beef ready to go, bro?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. I got mine too. So between the magnesium-rich salts and the pink potassium cave salt, most of our athletes at the moment, as well as my wife and I, are currently meeting all of our electrolyte needs with sea salts alone. What is pink potassium cave salt? Glad you asked. This salt originated 700 meters deep in the vicinity of Catalonia, Spain. This pink salt is preserved in the mountain now known as Salt Mountain. That's a cool name, Salt Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Unrefined, naturally higher in potassium and lower in sodium than regular table salt, this ancient cave sea salt has a similar texture to Redmond real salt and other pink Himalayan style salts, so if you're a fan of either of those, maybe consider upgrading to this bad boy. Pink cave salt tastes great. It goes in my water every day, so as I rehydrate, I replenish my electrolytes that can get flushed out if you overconsume more water than your body needs. As bodybuilding coaches, my wife and I use it to peak before competitions because sodium and potassium work together to shuttle glycogen, water, and other nutrients into muscle bellies to keep them nice and full and keep that skin tight and make that definition shine. Have you heard of the Model Health Show, bro, with Sean Stevenson?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that one too. I was just listening to it earlier today. Apparently, there's 600 functions that we know of so far that magnesium is responsible for. So I guess that means if you're deficient in magnesium, it could be you could experience one of 600 different symptoms, right? At least that's what makes sense to me. That was mine.
I was reading into it a little bit, and like the salts, they have all the trace minerals. I didn't even know there was like 90 or some trace minerals, whatever the number is. And yeah, just learning about all that was pretty interesting. And
Yeah.
Looking at the analysis of all the salts to see what they have in them.
Yeah, I'm excited to compare what you have too, because this email, right, this stack of papers right here is all the data that I just got from Ian that I was hoping to have together in time for this recording. But
Yeah,
I guess I'll just have to plug my next YouTube video on that. It's going to be a crash course on how to nail all of your electrolytes with sea salts alone.
Right, I actually have that information as well.
Sweet. Well, I want to hear how you do it too, then. So this anyway, so last thing is this pink potassium salt. This has basically become a flagship product for our clients and for our podcast listeners. So anyone can pick one up at any of the salts that you hear in this episode. You can pick them all up, with the exception of pink Himalayan salt. Yuck. At supercelllife.com. So all purchases go towards supporting the show. Thanks everyone for listening and learning. There's few things that I enjoy more in life than discovering how to optimize our health inside and out, and passing on the information with all of you. Carnivore Josh, welcome to the show, my man, officially. Shall we pray?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Heavenly Father, Jesus taught his disciples at the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:13-16, that we are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. You call us to let our light shine before the world. In the same way, direct this conversation that Josh and I are having to share the information and experience that you've given us to learn from each other and become healthier humans. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome to the show, bro. So why did you become a carnivore? I know you've been going through a lot.
Yeah, well, so I've been pretty sick the past few years. I developed a chronic condition called Gerd. It's basically a digestive issue. And yeah, it basically completely ruined my life. And I had to stop working out. I had to quit my job. And I was pretty much almost bedridden for like months and months and months. And it was a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm. What are the symptoms? What does that look like?
So there's a lot of symptoms with it, like mostly nausea, and like it's like severe acid reflux times like 50. And basically you're like choking, you have acid reflux, and you feel nauseous, and you feel bloated all the time. And it's not great. It's like everything you eat, you have like an allergic reaction to a little bit, because everything you eat just makes you feel nauseous and bloated. And like when you try to go to bed at night, you have trouble sleeping because you can just feel acid coming up your esophagus, and you like choke on it. So it's basically a digestive disorder, and I developed it from eating processed junk my whole life. I would eat probably donuts every other day. And
me too, man. Krispy Kreme knew me well. Every time I saw that red light on the and I knew that they were making them hot and giving away a free one, I was like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just I wasn't too concerned with my health my whole life. And then I started working out freshman year of high school, and I tried to start turning that around, take care of my health more. But I really I transitioned from eating one crappy thing to another. And I was just eating frozen processed meals because I was too lazy to cook. And I was eating like so many vegetables and fruits and trying to be so-called healthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, just all that stuff took a toll on me after all the years of eating crap. And my body was finally like, I guess it couldn't handle it anymore. So I started developing this condition, and it takes a while to realize what it is at first, because like at first it's just acid reflux and you don't really understand what's going on. You think it's just like, oh, it's just a little bit of acid reflux. But I was like that for like a year and a half, and it slowly progressed into a more severe stage, which is known as Gerd. And once it transitions into this stage, it's like too late. You're pretty much you're pretty much stuck with it.
Wow.
From what I've read. And it's pretty bad. You can, from what I read, you can take care of the symptoms, and you can cure it and get better, but it can come back. And so that's one thing I've experienced in my carnivore journey is that no matter how much I heal, if I go back to eating junk, it will come back. And so just got to remember that I got to stick to this, the way I'm eating, the what I'm doing right now, and that'll keep it away. And I got to keep eating healthy and staying away from processed sugars and like gluten and dairy and stuff like that. It sucks because one thing that happens with this illness is that you develop a lot of different food intolerances. Like before, I was never allergic to like gluten and dairy and stuff, but just kind of sprung up on me with this disease. And then it's like to the point where I can only eat meat now. And it's just been a crazy journey. And
Yeah,
there's like, yeah,
it sounds it's heartbreaking, but in a way kind of inspiring to people that are on the carnivore diet for other reasons because you literally have to be, you know.
I came to this lifestyle. I call it a lifestyle because it's
Yeah,
more than just a diet.
right.
It's about eating healthy. It's about grounding and connecting with the earth,
Hmm.
being like our ancestors.
Yep.
There's just getting sunlight. There's so much to it that's healthy for you. And yeah, I came to this because I had to, not because I wanted to or anything. At first, I started this diet because I literally had to.
Hmm.
And
That's pretty deep, bro. Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, and I find that on this way of eating that just everything is so much better with my life, my energy, my gym performance, my health, obviously. Like I'm kind of glad that I got sick because it led me to this awesome lifestyle that I'm able to actually be healthy and just to just relearning everything I thought I knew about nutrition and stuff because
Yeah.
I have been working out for like 8+ years and trying to somewhat be healthy, but just relearning everything and figuring out, oh, plants are actually bad for you. Oh, sugar's so bad for you, and all this stuff, oxalates and gluten and lectins and phytates, everything, just so much. And I'm actually kind of glad that I got sick because it led me to this healthy lifestyle. Just my gym performance and everything has been so much better even before I was sick on this diet.
Hey everyone, Coach Taylor Milton here. Welcome to Skullbellz TV, the official YouTube channel of supersetyourlife.com, where you're going to discover a weekly upload of quick and easy to follow workout tutorials featuring Coach Colt, myself, or one of our athletes to keep your workouts fun, practical, and effective. Our family's latest keto carnivore recipes that fuel Colt's competitions and keep myself and our kiddos strong and healthy. Video uploads of the supersetyourlife.com podcast, now over 100 episodes, your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym, and much more. Last thing before we get into the video, we're asking a big favor from you. This has been working beautifully, so if you would please think of someone you care about that would benefit from this video, go ahead and smash that like button, click the share button, and text this video to them. That would mean the world to us. And while you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more exciting content from Skullbellz TV, because our team has lots of meat and lots of muscle coming your way, and I promise you won't want to miss it. When you hit the subscribe button, you'll see a bell icon pop up. You want to click that too so you're notified every time we release a new video. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to us. Every like, share, and subscription helps our channel grow and supports our family's hard work. So thank you so much for doing your part too. That's all we ask. God bless you, and please enjoy this video.
This diet is curing my illnesses, it's helping my gym performance, it's helping me take my life back one step at a time. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I I quit my job. I wasn't working. I had to stay home. And just the fact that I can go out and work again and go to the gym and just go to the store. I couldn't even get out of bed. Like going to leave to the store for an hour, I would get sick in the middle of the trip and it would just be so terrible. I'm just glad to finally have my life back somewhat, you know? It's
Yeah,
great.
that's amazing. And you have a heck of a physique to boot on top of it. Just the cherry on the top now. Yeah, no, man, your before and after picture, the one that you just posted on Instagram, I'm seeing visible abs, I'm seeing serratus, I'm seeing veins, I'm seeing muscle definition, I'm seeing side deltoids, your pecs are separated from your front delts. You got a heck
Hmm.
of a physique, bro, especially coming out of everything that you've been through. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I had to stop. I worked out prior for about 6 years and I was basically just bulking my whole career. Bulking, 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 and eating as much as I can, trying to grow, weighing about 165 and looking pretty fat. Not fat, but like maybe like 20-30% body fat.
Yeah, now you look about 8 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And now I feel so much more healthier eating this way. And I feel like I feel like it's better to build lean mass slowly instead of trying to bulk and put on as much weight as you can and then cut down every season. This way it just feels more natural and better because you're staying lean. You look good all the time and you're slowly lean bulking. And I think it's just healthier in my opinion.
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah, and the people just need to get this concept out of their mind that you need carbs to bulk and that you need carbs to build muscle because it's yeah, you'll gain weight faster, but are you really gaining quality muscle mass when you're dirty bulking? Dirty bulking is just a dirty word. It should be gone. It should just be something that nobody talks about anymore because it's just like you said, it is hard on your body to go through a dirty bulk, obviously, because of how unhealthy the diet is to get there. But to put yourself in such a surplus and then to eat basically the same types of foods in most people's cases, but just way less of it. Now you got a bigger problem because you don't have enough energy to fuel yourself. And that's just a recipe for an eating disorder, you know?
Yeah. And another thing is like, because I'm a hard gainer, I have to eat so much to gain weight. I was literally shoveling food down my throat all day long, just trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
And now I'm not doing that. Now I eat till I'm satiated and somehow, some way well, I do track my fat and my protein, like you said, per pound of lean body mass for protein, and then somewhere around 150 to 200, 210 grams per fat. I just track my fat and my protein, make sure I'm hitting it, and I'm slowly gaining weight. And obviously, as you can tell from the pictures, just on this diet alone, I've gained all my muscle back plus
Yeah.
more. So just amazing. I love this lifestyle, and I'm probably gonna eat like this for the rest of my life.
You don't hear about you don't hear about people going back or finding a different diet after they've been carnivore for a couple years, huh?
No, the only thing I see people that go carnivore, um, they either add a little bit of fruit back in or like they either just like they stay meat based, but they just add other stuff like fruits or vegetables or just a little bit of vegetables, depending on the person or whatever their goals are or whatever. But I never see people quit. I just see people go more towards a meat based approach,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Paul Saladino and uh like Lily Kane, bunch of YouTubers, people like that.
Tom Lazinski
So
cast.
yeah. But yeah, I've experimented and tried adding stuff in certain fruits, no vegetables at all, ever. Just fruit. And
It's
right
so
now,
it's so funny how like as parents, like we always like the hardest thing is to get kids to eat vegetables, right? And to think like, okay, the kids never want vegetables. They'll always prefer meat over vegetables, right? I mean, our kids do. And so maybe your child is trying to tell you something about what their body needs.
yep, the children know. They know what they need. They know the nutrients they need, and they don't want those disgusting vegetables. I know I was definitely like that as a baby, as
Yeah.
a kid.
So
Yeah.
what if okay, so that's one of the great things about this way of life diet, whatever you want to call it. And I'm with you. I've been calling it a carnivore diet, less and more meat and salt, because
Lifestyle.
yeah, I mean carnivore is just so broad, and it just sounds like a fad diet, and a lot of people look at it as like a crash diet, like almost a last ditch effort when every other diet doesn't work, and which because most of them don't work. But like a last ditch effort to minimize carbs at all costs to lose weight. I mean, like that's kind of what a lot of people look at this way of life is, and it's really unfortunate. One of the coolest things about it is that you can troubleshoot it. You can troubleshoot plants. You can troubleshoot any type of food once you're restricted, and especially if you're doing 1 or 2 meals a day. Then you break your fast with it, and bam! If you have an inflammatory response, it's a no go. If it agrees with you and you feel energized and you don't really feel it weighing you down in your stomach, then it means that you probably got the green light on it, and it's something that maybe you can eat that doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. What have you found to work and not work when it comes to plants?
Even before the carnivore diet, I spent my whole time being sick, trying to find out what causes my disease to flare up and what doesn't. So just I spent thousands and thousands of dollars just wasting money on buying food, trying it, getting sick, and then having to give it away or throw it away. And uh, that's basically how I came upon this diet. The only thing I could really handle was meat, and so I just started eating this way. There's some uh, there's some doctors like Dr. Sean Baker and Dr. Anthony Chafee, people on YouTube that I saw that I learned how to start this correctly from.
Mm-hmm.
And even your channel. I kept up with your channel and watched some of your podcasts.
Nice.
And yeah, and so even after I started carnivore, I did do the first few months strictly just meat, like meat, salt, and water, and then allowed myself time to heal. And then after that healing period, I started trying to introduce different kinds of foods, like, because you'd have a cheat day, and you'd like to have a cheat day once in a while. So my girlfriend would get a sandwich or something or some fruit, and I would try eating bread again to see what happens. And bread's just a no. Gluten is a severe trigger for Gerd. Everybody I talk to, bread is a trigger. Um,
Wow.
so many different types of
Bread's just bad.
fruit.
Bread's just bad for everybody in general. So, but yeah.
The gluten. Oh my gosh, it kills your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, basically with GERD, you can't have any acidic foods or fruits or vegetables, which is like anything remotely spicy or tomatoes or anything with too much fiber. Just, yeah. So I tried all kinds of fruits, all kinds of other stuff, and pretty much all the fruits would make me sick, except apples. Very sweet fruits I can kind of handle, which I know is uh not great for the carnivore diet because of sugar,
Mm-hmm.
but semi-sweet fruits like apples and even just like blueberries and strawberries, I can
Oh,
handle
really?
a little bit of that.
Because berries, I believe, are pretty high in oxalates, and so I'm kind of surprised that those would work with you and maybe other fruits don't.
Just like when I'm talking about strawberries and blueberries, it's just like a little bit, like a tiny bit.
Yeah, and
Any more than that.
less fiber than like apples too.
hmm
How much fiber?
But
How much fiber can you typically get away with on a day?
I try to eat zero fiber, but since apples are like the only really fruit I can handle, uh, I do get away with 2 to 3 grams or maybe 4 grams of fiber a day, and I don't really see any drastic changes uh in my digestive health or in my stools or anything.
Hmm.
So I think a little bit is okay for me, but I do try to stay in 95% carnivore based, 95% meat, 5% whatever else, like apple or yogurt, fruit, stuff that's still considered carnivore, but in terms of my GERD, I can't have. So I'm really battling against like two different things, like trying to adhere to the carnivore diet and trying to adhere to my GERD diet at the same time. So I just try to get away with it whatever I can, but 95% of my diet is meat based, meat, salt, water, bacon, eggs, fish,
Hmm.
animal, bison, animal products, And
And,
so
and you can you kind of get away with all those equally, or do you get more or less inflammatory responses from any of them?
I see inflammatory responses from excessive pork,
Yeah.
consuming excess pork. Pork does cause my GERD to flare up a little bit. I don't know why that is, but it's just how it is. Other meats seem to be okay with me. Obviously, nobody can be allergic to beef, so beef is my number one. And
Yeah,
yeah,
beef seems to be the safest bet for everybody. Just typically, or at least with my consultations, is uh, pork and chicken are just fed a lot of garbage because like they basically eat anything. Um,
mhm.
Cows, when it comes, I mean, like hopefully your beef is grass fed, but if not, then grain fed is like almost as good and still has pretty much all the nutrients that you need. A little bit higher in omega sixes typically, but pretty much if you're going on the carnivore diet, start with beef. That's your
hmm
that's your safest bet. But yeah, I've noticed. I was doing a lot of chicken and pork and no beef actually for a couple months, and that started giving me a lot of zits. So they've been getting better ever since I got off and just went all beef.
I'm real glad you brought that up because with how compromised my digestive system is and how bad my body is, just consuming a normal standard grain-fed meat diet, just this typical standard meat from the grocery store, just that alone was enough to help cure my illness and get me to where I am today.
Yeah,
And then I really do think that the grass-fed, the high quality stuff will give that extra 5% and give you just that much more nutrients and energy in the gym and stuff like that. And it's all of depends on what you can afford. And especially for me, I try to get organic eggs because grain-fed eggs do kind of mess with me a little bit. I did notice that I can eat grass-fed eggs, like the entire egg, the egg and the egg white, no problem. And grain-fed eggs, I can't eat the egg white. Something to do with the grain-fed and the egg white
Coach
affects me.
Coach Mark, our co-coach that does all of our clients' diets with us, he's allergic to egg whites and not the yolks.
Yeah, the whites is the most typical allergy, is
Yeah.
from what I heard. So, yep, pretty interesting stuff. And I just, yeah, whenever I go to organic eggs, I eat the whole thing. And if I don't, I just eat the yolk. So I'll track my fat and my stuff accordingly.
Right on.
And yeah,
Cool, cool.
and then, yep.
What's your current physique goal, bro?
Um,
Other than just gaining weight and putting muscle on.
well, I thought about doing a competition. That was always one of my dreams to at least compete in one competition. And I was always so shy about it and uh never really got the courage to try it. But here I am just, steadily getting better and better, stronger, stronger, and looking better and better, and kind of thinking maybe I want to try eventually to do a competition, see how that goes, and mostly just for health and just for looking good, feeling confident because I've been skinny my whole life, and just being able to look good and fill out a shirt gives you so much confidence, makes you feel better about yourself. But yeah, definitely want to try competition.
100%. You because you're already like at 8% body fat, and so like you could easily out shred anybody, but putting on mass for like a good year or two, just a slow, steady, lean bulk like you're doing, not a dirty bulk. I mean, you would you probably wouldn't even need an 8 week show prep. If you put on only muscle and not fat, your body fat percentage is going to go down because now your total body weight is higher in direct and your muscle mass is higher as well. But with your fat pounds staying the same, your fat mass staying the same, that's how your body percentage goes down, even if you're not even if you're not necessarily cutting or burning fat. I think that you would be in wicked shape a year or 2 years from now. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. I've seen it happen a lot.
Yeah. Well, the bulking part is easy from what I can understand. You just need to eat more meat. And then the cutting part is what kind of confuses me. Like, should I eat more fat or less fat or
Yeah, it depends on the person in a lot of ways. Some people, I typically do better on a cut when I just immediately drop my protein. So I'm not competing this year. I'm going to be guest posing in 10, 11 weeks. And so I don't have to be like stage shredded and necessarily have striated glutes. Most competitors don't even have striated glutes, let alone guest posers. So this is kind of a fun opportunity for me to be on stage and do something with my physique the way that I think it should look and not necessarily be judged against anybody else. Uh,
yeah.
and so what I'm doing with my macros right now is when I do start cutting, I don't think I need to yet. I'm going to drop my protein from 250 to 200. And then
Okay.
that usually takes care of any type of spillover that was happening before. And then I can usually get away with increasing my fats from there too. So
Okay.
when I'm cutting, being in a ketogenic state and making sure that I'm there and getting into deeper ketosis if possible, that helps. First of all, it boosts your metabolism by about 20 or 30%.
Hmm.
Dr. Anthony, if you've been listening to Dr. Anthony Chafee, you know that.
Hmm.
And so then anything above of what my body actually needs for protein, which is probably about as low as 170, 160, 170 is where my lean body mass is. So that would be the absolute rock bottom that I wouldn't want it to go lower than. Cutting with only thinking about those two macronutrients, that's typically what works best for me.
Hmm. Uh, how much sugar takes you out of ketosis, or how much carbs, you know?
So I don't consume any carbs at all. I know that I could. I know there's other carnivores that do. I guess the only carbs that I am consuming is the trace amount that's in my keto brick, which is 4 grams of fiber. Uh,
Hmm.
and so carbs are, at least for me and for 99% of everybody that we're training, with a couple exceptions, are pretty much just non-applicable. It's
Hmm.
like we can, sure, there's a way to do it, but at the end of the day, I feel way better when I'm not eating them. I don't have to think about it. It's nothing that's going to trigger up any any type of binge eating tendency or anything.
Hmm.
Whenever I do consume carbs, I find it completely impossible to be in tune with my satiety signals, because your satiety signals play a huge role in a cut too. That will tell you if
Hmm.
you're cutting too hard or if you're not cutting fast enough. and I want to pick your brain too a little bit about satiety signals you were describing kind of how you go about intuitive eating, um, in terms of cutting to get just to get to a sustainable, healthy body composition where you can see muscle definition. You're not necessarily peeled. Yeah, intuitive eating will do it. It'll totally do it. You know that. Um, Getting absolutely shredded. Yeah, there comes a point where your satiety signals are gonna want to keep you in the healthy zone when it goes. Okay, we're consuming a lot less food right now. That can send your body into a panic mode if you're not careful. So
Right.
yeah,
So for cutting, um, most of my days are 100% carnivore, but some days I do have like an occasional fruit or an apple or something like that. Would you recommend that I completely cut out the carbs if I'm cutting
yeah, for
for a
sure,
competition? Yeah, okay.
100%. They'll do more damage than good,
Okay.
especially being on a meat-based diet. Very, very, very good question though.
Okay. All right.
Are you getting hungry, man? I want to taste these salts. See which one's better.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
Good stuff, man. Okay, so so between the two, do you have a particular favorite yet? I know you've been trying both of them.
So I just got the Gourmet Kosher one, and I really am liking this one a little bit more. Um,
Wow,
so
as far as the flavor goes, huh?
yeah, the flavor is like equally as tasty as the Makai Pure Salt, but it's more of a smoother kind of taste, and it definitely doesn't have that kick as much. And it's more smooth and a little bit less salty, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It's
Okay,
good.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna try the Makai with that in mind. All right,
Okay.
so this is just like tasting wine.
Right.
No, heck yeah. So my favorite thing about Makai is my wife and I had a our our honeymoon was to Maui, and
Mm-hmm.
so we did a lot of scuba diving, a lot of stuff in the ocean, and I distinctly remember what that salt tastes like, and I'll never forget it. It was one of the best weekends I've ever had in my life. Obviously, probably the best weekend I've ever had and will ever have. Now looking back at it, but anyway, I don't know if it's just like if it's just the feeling, just the fact that I know that it's sourced from Hawaii, but I swear it tastes like that.
Yeah.
But it's a little edgy though. You're right. It's not like as soft or smooth of a taste as I think even like the fine ground. But just the flavor itself to me seems a little bit more complex. So that's kind of why I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. I do like the fact that the Gourmet Kosher has twice the amount of magnesium. Definitely helps with my headaches and my muscle cramps. So yeah, I appreciate that. And then it has a little bit less calcium, two times less calcium. So that's something to be keep in mind if you need more of a certain electrolyte. The
Yeah.
Gourmet Kosher is better for magnesium.
So that's the
And
fourth one that's easy to forget about.
yep, and the Makai Pure Salt is good for calcium, has 18 milligrams. And yeah, I mean, I take about what's a serving? 1/4 of a teaspoon. I take about 6 servings a day. So I get from the Makai about 54 milligrams magnesium, 108 milligrams of calcium, and 30 milligrams of potassium just from salt alone. So that definitely helps my gym performance, I
Wow.
think.
What were those numbers again?
So I take 6 servings a day of the Makai Pure Salt, which equates to 54 milligrams of magnesium, 108 milligrams of calcium, which is a lot.
180?
108.
108.
Yeah. 30 milligrams of potassium and 2,600 milligrams of sodium.
Sodium chloride. Heck yeah.
And then the Gourmet Kosher has basically twice the amount of magnesium. So you need that magnesium, get that Gourmet Kosher salt.
Wow. So I didn't realize it was actually higher. I knew that it had as much. I didn't realize that it had slightly more though than Makai. So that's another good point to keep in mind.
The
Um,
Makai has 9 milligrams and the Gourmet Kosher has 20.
yeah. Wow.
Pretty
Okay.
good.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Hmm.
Good stuff. All right. I'm gonna taste the kosher now alongside it.
Yep. All right, let's see here.
It's a lot softer. Like it's kind of like midway between the Makai and the fine ground. The fine
Hmm.
ground obviously is the easiest on your teeth or whatever. I suffer from low enamel on my teeth,
Hmm. Hmm.
so whenever it gets particularly low, I have to go away from the Makai and from the big chunks, and I can just use that little grinder. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, but this gourmet kosher, it's got a good amount of moisture in it too. I feel like it has more moisture than the Makai does, but I think the Makai is hands down a better finishing salt. That's kind of my synopsis. Flavor wise, yeah, I'm with you. A little bit smoother. Kind of like if it was wine, it would be the Makai would be like a wine that you have to set out. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but but when like a heavier wine like a Malbec or a Zinfandel, if you're serving something like that, you want to let it sit for like an hour. Typically, you let it breathe and even let it get a little bit above room temperature. Um, those ones can be kind of heavy and have not necessarily a bite, but um,
Hmm.
be a little more strong, I guess. Where I would say the gourmet kosher is more like a Pinot Noir.
Yeah, the Makai pure salt is also more of a like a finishing salt, what it says. So
Mm.
it's like more of supposed to go on the food after it's done. And the Gourmet Kosher is literally for general use. So, and it's also got more nutrients. Definitely smoother flavor. And I like how the salt just kind of sticks together and looks, you can see it's a little bit more, has a little more moisture in it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's because it's super clumpy. Like when you take it off with the spoon, when you take it out of the jar with the spoon, it doesn't just like fall apart like normal salt does.
Hmm.
Uh, and so you're right. I think that's why it has that consistency.
Yep, this is definitely my new favorite, the Gourmet Kosher.
Good stuff, man. So yeah, I guess between the two, case solved. Way more practical, way cheaper to just go with the gourmet kosher. And if you're a complete salt snob like I am, then go ahead and pay top dollar for the Makai.
Yep. And according to the National Library of Medicine, 50% of America's population is magnesium deficient. So most of the population might need this salt.
There you go. Um, Going back to into intuitive eating, how do you typically how do you what signals do you look for when you know that you've consumed enough food so that you've fed your muscle bellies so that they can fully recover and grow, and enough fat to where you're meeting your needs for your energy expenditure, but not too much that you're storing it as unwanted body fat.
So I typically get hungry pretty fast. Like within 3 to 4 hours, I can feel my stomach growling at me and the hunger
Post
pangs
workout.
coming. Yeah, post workout. And so I just I get the ground beef and eat as much as I can until I don't feel like eating anymore. and I
Oh wow! So
just stopped.
you're on the ground beef bandwagon too, huh?
Yeah, I have ground chuck, ground chuck.
Nice. That seems to be a staple food that every carnivore has and just kind of like has as their number one go to. Why
Hmm
are you a fan of ground beef? Because I'm eating it every day.
Yeah, every single day. It's cheap. It's universal use. You can make it however you want, and you can make it into burger patties, and it's pretty easy to cook. So why not? I do love steak, trust me, but the steak is a little bit more expensive and
Oh yeah,
can
you go
take a little bit
up
longer
real
to.
quick on that.
Yeah. So definitely ground beef, ground chuck is a staple in the diet,
Mhm.
and then especially eggs and bacon and all that stuff. So ever since I purchased the Makai pure salt, that's basically the only one I've been using. Um, and now that I have the Gourmet Kosher, that's my new favorite. Before that, I was using just typical sea salt from Trader Joe's, and definitely these are my go-to now, especially the Gourmet Kosher. And it's
That's
gonna
pretty amazing that you can tell that drastic of a difference too. I really appreciate that. Um, how do you notice like where your muscle cramps have decreased and where specifically you're noticing more benefits from that added magnesium?
well before any of these salts, I was doing the carnivore diet for like 6.5 months or so. And that entire time I would get not, it wasn't too bad, just little muscle cramps here and there. Feel my tricep twitch or my quad twitch, and it would go on for a little while. And then I would also have headaches throughout my journey. And at first it was just because I was getting used to the diet. You have to become fat adapted. And so after that period, they started to go away, but I'd still have them once in a while, especially after a tough workout week, a tough week at work. And after I started adding these salts in, I didn't notice, but like a few weeks after, I did realize that I wasn't getting the headaches anymore that I used to. So it kind of made me realize that I could have been either magnesium or calcium deficient, something like that. And so now I'm not having those headaches, and I can definitely attribute it to the salt because them electrolytes are important, especially if you're working out and you're losing those electrolytes.
Yeah, super cool. Thanks, bro. Uh,
Hmm
how can do you ever do you notice anything if you overconsume sodium?
If I overconsume sodium, my mouth gets um kind of raw, like when you eat too much salt or your tongue kind of gets raw. That's how I tell if I eat too much or if I'm literally like downing bottles of water after, then I can tell that I had too much. But usually I don't ever go over because I eat what, six, maybe seven, 8 servings a day of the salt. I never go over that. And I write down the macronutrients, everything I get every day. Uh, I know you doesn't really matter to track your calories, but I have been just in case. And what I should be eating to gain weight is around what I'm eating without tracking. So like if I'm just eating to satiety, it's around what I need anyways to gain weight. So
Oh, cool.
it literally works out. It works out.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
Uh,
yeah, and then
so do you have do you have a certain amount of sodium that you're targeting a day and a certain amount of water in addition to your macros?
I actually don't look at sodium. I just look at the electrolytes because it feels literally fuels your workout.
Yeah.
I figure that I get all the sodium I need from meat, and I know you get pretty much everything you need from meat, but this is just the salt is for the extra electrolytes. That's literally it. The sodium and everything you get from meat anyways. So
Mhm. Are you one of those people that puts it in your water too, like I do?
no, I don't really like the taste of that, and that's another reason why I can't take electrolyte supplements because most of them are filled with dyes and processed sugars and
Oh yeah.
all the fruits and the flavors that I can't have because they'll trigger my illness. So that's why these salts are the perfect supplement for me, because they don't have any of that. They're just natural electrolytes. No taste, no artificial dyes or sugars or anything. So like this is the perfect electrolyte supplement for somebody like me that can't handle everything else that other people can because I have this illness. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah, there's let's see. Taylor's not a fan of it. I am. I would say about half of the people that we're training put water in their salt, and I go kind of half and half with the pink potassium salt and either the Makai or the Gourmet Kosher. Been doing the Gourmet Kosher lately because it's way cheaper. It doesn't really make sense to put the Makai in your water, but I've been doing that with just the pink salt for quite some time now. And I always forget, like if somebody asks like, hey, can I have a drink of your water? Like I was on the ski lift with my dad, and and he was like, can I have some of your water? I was like, sure. And I didn't think anything of it, and he spat it out. He was like, is there salt in there? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. You know that I salt my water like all day every day, right? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean it's kind of an acquired taste, but now I can't even drink water without it. I just love it.
That's another personal reason for me, is that the supplements, all the electrolyte supplements, if they have like unflavored ones, you still have to add it to a drink anyways. And what's the point when I don't even like the flavor, when I could just put the salt on my food? Or I actually acquired the taste of just eating it from the tablespoon. So I think it's just better to eat it like that than have to buy an expensive supplement that you're just gonna put in water and not like the taste of anyways. So
right, exactly. Well, cool, brother. I think we're at the top of the hour now. Your YouTube channel, you got a lot of exciting stuff that you got working on right now. What's the name of your channel?
The name of my channel is Josh Legends. You can follow me on YouTube, and my Instagram name is Carnivore Josh. Give me a follow there and keep up with my journey. And I like to try to post informational content and try to help people out, especially people that have the same thing I do, or somewhat of the same thing I do. I want to try to help people because I'm crushing my illness with this lifestyle.
Amen.
And I definitely want to spread.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us in this entire episode. If you found this helpful or entertaining, please share this with a friend. Please subscribe to the channel and you'll make sure that you don't miss future content of salt, muscles, meat, Jesus. You never really know what we're going to throw at you next. But seriously, follow Josh. Really, really cool guy. He is brilliant, guys. Really, really glad that we're friends. And I learned a lot. Took a lot of notes on this episode. So hope that you can say the same. Much love again. God bless. Catch you on the next episode.